All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my first review for the last season of Game of Thrones. This is for the premiere episode, Season 8, Episode 1. Alright, man, so today is the day we finally got to see a new episode for Game of Thrones, man. This took a while. This was quite the wait for this episode. I did a video earlier today where we kind of, gave our thoughts on the wait time, because it was a long time coming, man. It almost felt like for a while that we would never, like, it was never gonna be here, and that we were never gonna see that last, piece, because it just always felt that it was distant. It always felt like, oh, you gotta wait, you're not sure when, and okay, finally we get the information on the release date, and today is the day. It's finally here, the premiere episode for Game of Thrones Season 8, which leaves us with only 5 episodes left for the entire series. Very exciting time to be a fan of Game of Thrones for people that have followed the series over the years, and just those episodes left, and that's it. It's going to be over. But man, it started off, I think, in epic fashion, and kind of in what I expected for this premiere episode. I'm also unaware of the names so far of the episode. I couldn't find it on the wiki where they usually have the episode names, but. I enjoy this premiere episode quite a bit. I mean, a lot of it is really getting just set up for this season and what we're going to see. Not a whole lot of wasted time or filler or anything, because there aren't that many episodes. So just giving us kind of what we needed for this episode to give us an idea of where everybody is at this time, and what's happening and what's going on here just prior to the Army of the Dead reaching Winterfell. But we get the sense that they're on their way. They're very close now, and maybe a couple more episodes, and we should see that battle take place. And then after that, of course, Cersei and Euron as well, with the Golden Company, are out there as a potential threat afterwards. So a lot of really cool moments in this episode, just getting back to things and stuff that we've kind of predicted and we've kind of gone over for years now, since the end of Season 7, since the finale for Season 7, just kind of waiting to see. Of course, with Game of Thrones' long history, you have so many different character relationships, and you have certain ones that hate each other, certain ones that kind of come up, like you have with Samwell and Daenerys when she goes to meet him to thank him for saving Jorah, and of course, it's like, oh yeah, that's right, Tarly, right? So she literally burnt his father and brother by dragon fire, alive. And so, as mean as and Sam knows, his dad was an asshole, right? Was an asshole. But at the same time, it's still his dad, and it's still his brother, it's still his family. So the fact that she had to basically, or if she decided to, he's even asking Jon, like, would you have done it? In the same kind of way. And I think, as a viewer, we all kind of know, like, he has sentenced people to die before, but he probably wouldn't have. And a lot of very cool scenes throughout it. I really liked getting to see Bran and Jaime come face to face at the end again, and just kind of see where each other's at. You have Bran there, who's kind of just sitting there, sort of third-eyed raven, like just kind of staring at him, right? Just kind of like with his creepy self, right, in his chair, just staring at him. And Jaime's just like, and it really goes back to the very first premiere episode of the whole series for Game of Thrones, when he's climbing, right? He's always climbing, and you even have a kid at the beginning who's running, and then he's climbing up a tree to see Jon and to see Daenerys kind of riding in, which was really cool to kind of make you think back for Bran, and kind of how the whole thing started off. Because if you guys haven't seen the premiere episode of the series for a while, that's what it was. It was like Cersei and Jaime and the stuff they were doing, and then Bran's climbing, and then no more climbing, and then he gets the push. And that's kind of where the whole thing starts off. So it was really cool in this episode that they included some things to really take you back to in parallel, that those first kind of moments of the series, in the very first premiere episode, all those years ago, 2011, right? So the intro we start things off. We get kind of a recap of where we're at and some important moments of things leading up till now, because it has been a while, so it's probably useful for basically everybody to get a sense of where we're at. And some of the episode was like, a lot of that was kind of in the episode as well too, that kind of establishing where everybody's at, what's happening, and everything that's going on. So we got the epic new intro with the wall having the hole in it. You kind of go to the key places, right? You know, they've changed it quite a bit, obviously, over the years. It's always kind of changed as sort of the set pieces of Game of Thrones kind of change and the locations. You see the wall with a hole. You see Winterfell and kind of what it is now, different. You see the landscape and kind of the patterns that come through, and then you get to see King's Landing. So I love the new intro; it's great, and that intro for Game of Thrones is freaking legendary. I mean, that's when you could listen to the sound and like right away, even if you can't see it, you just listen to the sound, it's Game of Thrones. It's like, oh, sweet, man. So that was so hyped to see it just start. After the amount of time we've been waiting, that was so cool. We've got Winterfell, we've got the kid running, climbing, and then we've got Jon and Daenerys, like we said, riding in, and it's cool to see them together in the episode. I liked basically everything that they did in this episode, and it's not all good because of course they've had to fight wars, they've had to fight battles, and they've wronged certain people, and now everybody's kind of coming together, which is the best case scenario to face the dead. But at the same time, they have baggage from before and stuff that happened between them before that, maybe they're asking each other about, they're finding out, they're confronting each other about. And so there's different things here that are happening. So you have the two of them, and I liked when they rode the dragons and all that, and you have the kind of them going on, I guess, a little date type of thing. They're kissing and, beautiful, waterfalls and stuff like that in the north. And I still like to see the two of them together as a couple, but it does afterwards with Sam informing Jon that he is in fact a Targaryen, and it must make sense. And the proof is once he hears it, the proof must be there in his mind. Like, he's able to ride the dragon, he's able to do this stuff. Why did they let him do that? And it's like, so it all kind of fits in together. So I don't think anybody will really be questioning that this is in fact true, because if he's able to do stuff like that and nobody else can, they'd make shish kebab of anybody else who try to come up to them and be like, oh, can I have a ride? It's kind of like self-evident that once he hears it, it all kind of fits in and makes sense. But he does feel confused and taken back because, of course, Eddard was a very honorable man and basically had to lie to protect him and had to do some dishonorable things in order to keep him safe from Robert, who would have never let him live had he have found out. So a lot of stuff going right back to the very beginning, which is really, really cool. So we get everybody kind of arriving and kind of meeting each other, and Daenerys arriving there, and the people of the North are mistrusting of her, and of course they're trusting of Jon, but they're not happy that Jon had to kind of bend the knee to her, which of course that's going to change now anyway too. But they're not happy, and then you have Bran who kind of saying we don't have time for this, right? Like, we got to get got to go forward with what we have to do. You get Umber. Okay, we've got the Lannister army, Tyrion, and so they're all kind of saying what they're gonna do. What do dragons eat? So that was kind of fun. Whatever they want. We have Tyrion and Sansa. I used to think you were the cleverest man alive, right? So that was a cool one. And again, cool to see the two of them together again, because it's been a good number of years, a good number of seasons since they had to. Was it season 4 where Tyrion is forced to kill Tywin, and you had Shay and the stuff that happened there, where the two of them were kind of course, him and Sansa were together. They were forced to kind of be together in that way with what was going on in season 4, and then of course they're separated after. I think it was season 4 since they basically seen each other again with everything that happened there. So that was cool, and there's a lot of moments like that. You get Gendry and Arya and. Quite a few different character interactions for people that have been separated for a while. The Hound, right? That was fun. And just some different cool parts like that. So we have that. Arya and Jon, right? That's another one. So them getting to see each other again. And don't forget that, their family. And then we have Cersei. Okay, so some good stuff with Cersei coming up that basically, based on the books, was pretty much exactly as a lot of us had predicted. So the Golden Company has been brought in. And Euron, in fact, did go to kind of get them and bring them back. Which is, we get a count. So we get 20,000 men, 20,000 Golden Company, no elephants. They can't do elephants, which it makes sense when they explain it, because are they really going to load up the ships with elephants? Like, how's that going to? How much do they freaking weigh? Are they going to be behaved when they're? Are they going to get seasick? Are they going to run off? Or somehow, I don't know. You put a bunch of elephants on one of the ships and you turn the ship over or something. I don't know. Stampede, roll the ship or something. I don't know. So it made sense that they didn't bring the elephants. But it would have been kind of cool to see some war elephants with drums and shit. Going off. But the Golden Company looks very cool. We've got Strickland, right? So after the war, and then we get Euron, who's actually, can I say Euron's one of my favorite characters? He is, but he's a villain, of course, too, right? But he's supposed to be an antagonist, but he is very entertaining, right? So we get some funny parts between him and Cersei, and Cersei needs him right now, right? So she needs his loyalty, and so she kind of, at first she doesn't want to give it up, right? So so he's got to kind of push a little bit harder, and she kind of, I think she thinks about it for a bit, and she realizes she kind of has to because she needs him on her side. She's 20,000. It sounds like a good amount, but we'll have to see later on because, of course, the Northerners. I mean, the amount they have: Daenerys, the dragons, Unsullied, the Northern people that are still alive, and all the different houses that have kind of come together and everything. The Dothraki. They have a good amount, but Cersei's not in a bad position either. Like she says, good that they broke the wall because her enemies are going to fight each other first, and she's going to kind of sit in the background, just chilling, waiting to see who wins, and then picking up the pieces. But Jaime, of course, has gone to seemingly help as well too, and it looks like that's what we're going to see, and I do like Jaime, so that's cool. But it's just kind of funny to see where Cersei's at, what she's doing, and Euron as well too, with Yara being rescued, which was great by Theon, which was cool, and just the stuff between her and Euron I thought was pretty funny. So he's gonna have the queen, right? So that's funny. That's like his whole goal and everything, and she maybe gets an idea, right? So he says that he's going to put a prince in her, her belly, and you can kind of see after her face after he says it, she's kind of like, oh, she's, so what is she thinking? So, of course, she's got to be thinking that, let him think it's his, right? So she's already pregnant, so far as we know, and if that's true, and it seems to be true, right? But Euron doesn't know it, so this can be the biggest leverage ever, because now she can just say, she can tell him that she is, and that it's his. And so he will do anything, to the death. He will fight to protect her because he thinks it's his, right? Which is, for a Greyjoy, is like unbelievable thing that you would have that, and it's so out of their, on the Iron Islands and stuff. It's so, to be able to do that for him, to be able to have offspring with the queen, right? So he'll do anything. This is such leverage for her. See, Cersei is too smart, and as Sansa kind of calls it out as well afterwards too. Like Sansa knows it's like the, but Cersei is very smart because she's been able to find allies when it seemed like in season 7 there that she was going to be toast, right, by Daenerys. That if Daenerys would have just attacked, she would have easily swept them. And now Cersei is kind of making some really good power is power gaming decisions, right? So I like it. So that's cool stuff. So I enjoyed all of that stuff with Yara. It was really funny. I like that Yara was able to get away because that was good. And then we get into the Karstarks, and that was kind of cool. That made me think about Robb and season 2 or way back, season 2, season 3, that type of stuff that was going on with him and the Karstarks, man. Okay, we got Tyrion not that old. That was funny. So some funny lines from Tyrion throughout the episode. As per usual, what we would expect, right? The Gendry and Arya stuff. And, the line from the Hound. Cold little bitch, aren't you? That's why you're still alive. So I like that line. That was really good. And, you don't know any other rich girls, right? So between Arya and Gendry, which was fun. House Glover, mention of that one. Sansa and Jon, much prettier, right? And then, so did you do it for the people of the North, or did you do it because, he likes her, right? So that was cool. But again, all that's going to change anyway because now he's found out. And the Flying the Dragons part was pretty cool. I like to see the dragons kind of come in and how the people of the North reacted to seeing them, right? Because they didn't know if they were under attack or what was going on. But that was cool to see. And then he finds out from Sam and the scene between Daenerys and Jorah and Sam, where she goes to thank him, and that quickly turns into something else. And let's see. Then we have the Beric, right? And Tormund. And the dark and the creepy part with the kid with the, I don't know what it was, like a spider dead type of thing around him, right? They say it was the Umber kid, the Umber boy, and just the stuff. So then Varric lights him on fire to burn him out, and put him to rest, that type of thing, which was good. And don't know if some kind of ritual or something there that was going on. I thought it might be like some kind of portal or something, but just the fire went up, and we didn't really see much after that. But it was still, dark and everything to kind of see. And then the parts with Jaime with the dark kind of cloak and everything coming in. And you see him, and then we get the promo at the end. Wow. So, man, really enjoyed this first episode. Those are pretty much my thoughts on all the different scenes and what I liked the most from it. In terms of score for this episode, I'm going to give it a 9.3 out of 10. I loved it. I just love to see, everybody interact with each other, to remind you back to the different events that happened between the different houses and everything that happened before, to get to see everyone interact and where everyone was at. And it was really cool because it brought up some things like with Sam and Daenerys that you wouldn't think, you just wouldn't have thought of that, years ago, right, when we saw the end of that season 7 and everything that happened at that. And awesome stuff, man. Really enjoyed it. Great premiere episode, and only 5 left, but it looks like they're going to be just absolutely epic as all hell. So can't wait to see, the battle probably in a couple episodes between the Army of the Dead and Winterfell, with everybody together there now, and then after to see what happens with Cersei and Euron. As I kind of predicted, like we all thought that the Night's King would be like the final villain of the series, but the way things are shaping up, it looks like it might actually be Cersei, which is, it's cool too. In true Game of Thrones fashion, it kind of doesn't go the way, you might think it would at first, where you have the big boss at the end, like a video game or something, and then it ends. You're going to have the biggest, most powerful one coming up soon, and then after that, it won't end, and you'll probably see Cersei with Jon and with Daenerys battling afterwards, whoever survives the next battle. So that'll be it for this video, guys. I'll be back soon to do my predictions on what I think is going to happen in the second episode. Let me know what you thought about the first episode of Season 8 of Game of Thrones. Kind of sad it's almost over, but we're going to go out with a big hurrah. It's going to be a great final season from the looks of things. And, wow, man, amazing stuff for what is definitely one of the best series of all time, no question. Let me know what you guys thought about it. If you like this review, please don't forget to thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. At bottom left to subscribe, and I'll see you guys back again soon for another Game of Thrones video. Send me any questions you guys have in the comments below for Q&As for this week for Game of Thrones leading up to the second episode of Season 8. That's it for this one. See you guys again soon for the next video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.